Vikings fans. We can say that again.
Yes, we can.
We're back. We're here at the Iowa Podcast Awards. We just finished watching Week 2, Vikings versus 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings beat the 49ers, which was awesome to see.
Skull.
And we also just finished recording our live episode here at the Iowa Podcast Awards. It was so much fun. We had a blast.
Yeah, except for the push-ups.
We, of course, if you've been watching and following along, you know that we spun the wheel of purple punishments last week. And if the Vikings won this game, the punishment was that we had to do 10 push-ups every time we said the word Vikings. And I think between the two of us, we ended up doing like 80 push-ups.
Something like that. We each said it at least 3 times. I couldn't see after a few minutes, so it was crazy. But it was a lot of fun.
The good news is we can say Vikings again because we are no longer recording that episode. You'll probably see that episode come out later this week. Mm-hmm. We talk about everything that happened to the Vikings. And tried not to say the Vikings in Week 2 as they beat the Niners at home at US Bank Stadium. And we also looked ahead to the Texans game next week, also at home at US Bank. But we've been trying to do these like immediate reaction videos. So I wanted to ask you, we do a lot of like, oh, what was the best moment or what was the lowest moment? Mm-hmm. I just have a new little like metaphor for us to use. And it's something that I use with my daughters at home. Roses and thorns.
Okay.
What was a rose and what was a thorn for you in this Vikings game against the Niners?
I just think my overall rose is that the Vikings looked good against a team that is, the cream of the crop of the NFL. I'd venture to say most experts didn't pick the Vikings to win this game. We didn't pick the Vikings to win this game, and it wasn't a lucky thing. Yes, Justin Jefferson had that awesome 97-yard touchdown catch,
so awesome.
Which was a great pass from Sam Darnold, great everything about that play, and that was a huge highlight. But it's not like they needed that to win the game, and it was a last-second desperation thing. The team just looked good.
Yeah. I think for me, the rose was early on the defense looked solid. And there were some penalties, there were some things that we wish wouldn't have happened, but for the most part, they stopped the Niners. And the Niners were moving the ball at times. They found Kittle, they found Ayuk, they found Deebo Samuel, and of course, a good quarterback like Brock Purdy is going to find his weapons all over the field. And he did that, but when it came down to those key plays, those third and longs, even some fourth downs that they went for, the Vikings defense shut them down and made them pay or made them kick a field goal instead of letting them score a touchdown. And that proved to be the difference, I think, in this game. So that was a big rose for me. What about a thorn? What was something that you wish we could do over or undo completely from the game?
Yeah, my biggest thorn right now is just the performance of the offensive line. There was a couple of times Sam Darnold couldn't even look up. He barely got the snap, and all of a sudden he had 3 49ers in his face. And it was just consistent. The offensive line needed to step it up more and more each play of the game. And I don't know what PFF scores they'll have this week, but from the eye test, they as a unit overall looked pretty awful. I will say Joey Bosa didn't wreck the game. I think he actually came out for injury for a little bit at one point. So Darisaw probably did okay. It's not like they had any specific defensive linemen for the Niners that totally wrecked the game. And ultimately the Vikings won, so it couldn't have been that bad. But man, that offensive line has to step it up if they're going to do anything this season.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. For me, the thorn was watching Justin Jefferson go to the locker room in the third quarter with an apparent quad injury, and we're hoping it's just like, pretty severe bruising or something, and it's nothing pulled or torn or anything like that. But we watched that guy sit out for 6 or 7 weeks last year with a hamstring injury. We know how important Justin Jefferson is to the Vikings team. He was last year, and he continues to be this year. That 97-yard touchdown pass that he caught today from Sam Darnold is proof that he is absolutely necessary on this team. So to see him go out with injury is definitely a thorn. You hope that he gets healthy, he's recovering, and you hope he's back for the Texans next week.
Especially with Jordan Addison dealing with that ankle injury. Both ankles have had some bang-up things happen to them so far in this early in the season for Jordan Addison. So you hope the receiving core is not down Jefferson and Addison for very long, because that would be pretty devastating.
And they're already down T.J. Hawkinson until at least the bye week.
At least the bye week, and that's if his recovery is going well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Darnold, we've been talking about him, how this is the best place. The Vikings are the best team for Darnold to go into because of all the weapons. But I mean, if his weapons are gone and injured, it doesn't really matter. So hopefully they figure it out, and hopefully this season is as exciting as it could be.
Yeah. Well, to wrap things up here. An obvious rose, I think, for both of us is just the fact that the Vikings won the game.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
To beat the 49ers at home, first home game of the season. That crowd was rocking at US Bank Stadium today. That in and of itself is just a huge confidence boost for this team moving forward. The Giants last week, okay, you blew them out. It was 28-6, whatever.
Yeah.
That's kind of to be expected, but to go in and do what they did against the 49ers is huge. And I think it says a lot about where this team is headed and what this team is capable of. So hopefully a lot of exciting Vikings games ahead.
Absolutely. So, and to reiterate, last week the Vikings were favored by 1 point against the Giants. They won, 28-6. The last I paid attention to the betting line for this Niners-Vikings game, the Niners were favored by as many as 5.5 or 6 points. And that may have changed by the time kickoff came around, but the Vikings are getting the job done better than they're supposed to so far. And I think a lot of that is Sam Darnold. Aaron Jones, even with that devastating fumble right at the goal line, which could have been a touchdown. I think Aaron Jones is still a net positive for the team. I'm excited, and I'm ready for my 11-win prediction to come true.
You might be right. The only way to find out is to see what happens and make our way to January.
Yeah. So. Real quick, major thank you to 5 Cities Brewing out of Bettendorf, Iowa. They provided our beer for our episode at the Iowa Podcast Awards today. The Crushin' on Amber was delicious. I love it. You've had it countless times.
It's my favorite.
5 Cities is delicious. Go get 5 Cities if you can. They're amazing. It is not the last time we will have them on the podcast. We like them a lot. And special thanks to Big Top Ventures for being the presenting sponsor of the Skull Hop.
Sweet. Well, we're going to have a lot more to talk about next week after the Vikings take on the Texans.
Yeah. So. Check out the Texans-Bears game tonight, too. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, till next time.
Skull.